Do you ever scroll social media after practice or a competition and suddenly feel like everyone else is faster, stronger, more confident, more successful, and somehow doing it all with better hair? There's a saying you've probably heard before: comparison is the thief of joy. And in sports, that thief doesn't just steal joy, it steals confidence, focus, and sometimes even the love of the game. But here's the twist no one talks about: comparison only becomes a thief when it turns into judgment. Used intentionally, comparison doesn't have to rob you. It doesn't have to be your enemy. It can actually teach you. Welcome to the Mental Weight Room, where we train the brain just like you train your body. I'm your host and mental performance coach, Antoinette Daytalk, and today we're talking about comparison culture: what it is, why it generally does not support a growth mindset, and how to stop letting it drain you and use it as fuel when you can't avoid it. Comparison culture is the habit, often unconscious, of measuring your worth, your progress, or potential against someone else's performance. And for high performing athletes, this shows up everywhere: on the scoreboard, in rankings and lineups, in judge sports like gymnastics, figure skating, diving, in practice when your coach says things like, "Why can't you do it like that guy?" Or when parents, often with good intentions, compare siblings, teammates, or competitors. Comparison culture isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a quiet inner voice whispering, "I should be further along by now." Here's the problem: comparison hurts your mindset because it shifts your focus from process to outcome, from learning to proving, and from curiosity to judgment. Instead of asking, "What can I improve today?" you start asking yourself, "Am I better or worse than them?" That's where fear of judgment sneaks in. And fear of judgment makes you play it safe instead of trying new things, avoid risks that could help you grow. And it ties your confidence to external approval: scores, rankings, opinions, outcomes. And once your confidence depends on comparison, your growth mindset is in trouble. But here's the honest truth: telling athletes to stop comparing themselves to others isn't realistic. Some sports, like we've mentioned before, gymnastics, figure skating, diving, are inherently comparative and subjective. Judges exist, rankings exist, tryouts exist, and sometimes the comparison isn't even coming from you. It's coming from coaches, parents, teammates, social media, or the structure of the sport itself. So instead of pretending comparison doesn't exist or ignoring it, we need a better strategy, and I've got one for you. Step 1: shift from judgment to curiosity. Comparison becomes destructive when it's emotional and vague, when you hear or even say things to yourself like, "That person's just better than me." But it becomes useful when it's specific and curious, when you ask yourself, "What exactly is that person doing differently than me? How do they approach practice? What habits do they have that I don't?" This requires honesty, not self-criticism, but self-awareness. Curiosity keeps your nervous system calm. Judgment shuts learning down. Step 2: use benchmarks, not beatdowns. There's a difference between comparison and benchmarking. A benchmark is someone you admire, not to tear yourself down, but to give you a target. Watch how they warm up, how they handle mistakes, how they respond under pressure, how consistent they are when no one is watching. Let their standards pull you forward, not push you into shame. Step 3: compare forward, not sideways. Sideways comparison, teammates, rivals, social media peers, often leads to insecurity. But forward comparison looks like this: where was I 6 months ago? What skills have I improved? What would future me thank present me for working on today? That's a growth mindset in action. And then step 4: reframe judgment as information, as data. If your sport involves judging, here's a powerful reframe. Judgment isn't a verdict on you. It's feedback on your performance. Scores, rankings, critiques are data points. They tell you where refinement, not worth, is needed. High performers don't take judgment personally. They take it professionally. Comparison culture isn't going anywhere, but how you respond to it determines whether it becomes a ceiling or a catalyst, whether it shrinks you or sharpens you. When you lead with curiosity, honesty, and intention, comparison stops being a threat and starts becoming a tool. So the next time you catch yourself comparing, ask yourself this: am I using this comparison to judge myself or to get curious about how I can grow? And then ask, what is one specific thing I can borrow, practice, or improve this week because of it? The goal isn't to be better than everyone else. The goal is to be a little bit better than you were yesterday. If you'd like to find out more about how to prevent comparison culture from stealing your joy, confidence, and focus, I'd love to connect with you. Visit my website at AntoinetteDaytalk.com or scan the QR code on the screen right now and click Book a Free Session to learn not only about the kind of work I do, but also about how I'm making mental performance training accessible and affordable for athletes, parents, and coaches at every age and skill level. Thanks for tuning in. If you found this episode helpful, please like it, drop me a comment, and share it with a teammate or friend. Don't forget to subscribe and follow The Mental Weight Room on social media so you never miss a mental workout. You can find me at The Mental Weight Room Pod on Instagram and The Mental Weight Room Podcast on Facebook. This is Coach Antoinette signing off, and until next time, keep training your brain like you train your body and keep pushing your limits.